So, Mr. Sketchy, tell me what's on your mind.
Well, I've been thinking, Doctor. With the great pre-season 5 famine, we MLP fans have been scouring the interwebs searching for pony content to hold us over until the fated premiere. I remember seeing a post on Equestria Daily that asked something along the lines of, "What was your favorite issue of the MLP comics?" Much to my surprise, the most popular response was, "I've never read the comics." This really shocked me. I mean, we have a piece of official media that releases twice a month to hold us over until season 5, and yet a large portion of the fans don't read them. I, for one, am an avid supporter of the comics, and since the first issue came out right after I got into the show and finished catching up with the episodes, I saw it as a great way to not only give us more Pony, but also expand on the MLP universe. So I'm wondering why they still remain unread by so many fans.
I see. Well, I'm actually one of those very fans who loves the show but has yet to read through the majority of the comics. I know that so many of my watchers have been requesting to hear my thoughts on them, and really everything I've seen from the previews has made me rather curious. But I still haven't put forth enough effort to seek them out myself. I suppose part of that has to do with the fact that I've never been the type to go out to a comic book store and buy an issue of anything. And perhaps another part of it has to do with the fact that I'm already keeping so busy with making videos revolving around the show that I'm worried about how much of a time sink going through the comics would be for me. But really, I'm sure that I would most likely enjoy the material if I had those books right in front of me. I suppose you've asked at least a few other fans about why they haven't taken the time to read the MLP comics, Sketchy. Have they come up with any specific reasons?
I have, and the usual response that I get is that keeping up with the comics is an expense that they can't afford. And I can understand that much. I mean, $3.99 isn't much by itself, but when you're keeping up with a series that releases 2 issues every month, it can add up. Admittedly, the comic series is more of a monetary investment, whereas with the show, you just turn on the TV or open up Netflix. With the show, if there's a bad episode, you can just change the channel or stream something else. But with the comics, if an issue or an entire story arc is underwhelming, you're stuck, and you just paid money for it.
Makes sense to me. After all, we live in an age where entertainment is becoming all the more abundant. Particularly with the advent of YouTube, a person can spend many hours enjoying all sorts of content without having felt like they needed to invest anything but time. Though that comes at the cost of many others who are creating content and hoping to make a living out of it. I don't know about the quality of MLP comics firsthand, but I've heard more than enough from other fans to want to see the writers and illustrators of those comics succeed. And yet, I still haven't taken that step to support them myself. So I guess it becomes a bit of a conundrum when you are part of the Brony community and want to see all these wonderful content creators come up with even better material, and yet hesitate when that might mean providing that support in a more direct fashion. Now, in my case, it doesn't make all that much difference whether or not I'm receiving direct compensation for all the work I put into these videos on YouTube. My primary motivation is still because the work is highly enjoyable, and I get to inspire a few others here and there at the same time. But not everyone has that option available to them. And in the case of the MLP comics, it would make sense to keep encouraging others to read them and perhaps start to buy their own issues in the future. Though at the same time, I can still understand why someone would hesitate to become invested in such a long-standing series that will likely continue for many years to come. What do you think, Sketchy?
You certainly make a good point, Doctor. Because supporting the comics is an actual monetary investment, jumping into the series is almost like a gamble, especially with a series that rotates their writer-artist duos. You may buy one issue done by a certain writer-artist team and love it, but that doesn't guarantee that you'll feel the same way about the next issue, since it will most likely be done by a different writer and artist entirely. In a sense, the show is the same way though. Some people prefer M.A. Larson's episodes, others may prefer Megan McCarthy's. Although, with the comics, you have the added element of art style as well. Unlike in the show, which has a constant visual style, the comics don't due to the aforementioned rotation in artists and writers. It's almost like a grab bag of different styles. You don't know what you're gonna get. While I can see why this can be a turnoff for some, that's one of the things I love about the comics. The difference in visual styles help to give the series some variety. And on top of that, the artists aren't limited by the flash puppets of the show. and can make the characters much more emotive, which gives the stories a lot more impact.
It certainly adds a lot more variety to MLP, as the comics can actually delve into some story ideas that the show doesn't seem willing to as of yet. Though I suppose that is one more possible issue with the comics. There's already been an official statement that the comics will draw elements from the show, but the show doesn't have to draw elements from the comics. Thus, any of the comic stories could be made obsolete if the show decided that they wanted to go in a different direction. That may also be a reason why many fans haven't picked up the comics as of yet. It could be that they'd hesitate getting invested into a story that isn't as official as the show episodes are.
That's definitely true. Because of the comic status as B canon, anything the show does can override an idea established in the comics. It actually happened once. In issue number 11 of the comics, which was released prior to season 4's debut, there was a background Easter egg that hinted at Twilight and Shining Armor's mother being the author of the Daring Do series, and the comic fans loved it because it gave background on Twilight's family, and it coincided with the fact that she was an avid fan of the series and owned all the Daring Do books. Then Daring Don't happened and got rid of that idea completely. I can see why the comics are rendered B canon though. The comics and the show have vastly different production schedules, and coordinating those schedules so that the two mediums would be more in sync, if you will, would probably be too much of an effort for both the show staff and the comic staff. Still, I feel there's a lot that people are missing out on with these stories. The issue I mentioned earlier was part of an arc that showed how Shining Armor and Cadence first fell in love and became a couple. A huge criticism of those two characters at the time of their debut was that we had little to no background of their relationship with each other, and more importantly, their relationship to Twilight. And this story arc helped to fill a hole that was begging to be filled, and the rest of the series had all sorts of moments like that.
I know I've certainly wanted to see more development for these characters, and perhaps such encouragement will help others to seek out the comics for themselves. Still, I hope everyone can understand that there are reasons as to why the comics aren't for every fan out there. Maybe that will change in the future, and maybe it won't. We'll just have to wait and see. Shall we continue on this next week?
Actually, Doctor, I think I'm okay with the fact that not many fans are invested in the comics. Honestly, part of the reason why I'm so passionate about the comic series is that I've always loved comics and plan on breaking into the industry myself, so I can understand if some people don't share my enthusiasm. It may just have to take some getting used to, along with a little bit of faith in the creators behind it. Like you said, maybe this will change and maybe it won't. But even if it doesn't, the comic series is still very successful and has been selling very well despite all of this. So even if there is a large percentage of fans that don't read the comics, the percentage of people that do read them is large enough to keep the series going. And that's the most I can ask for.
Glad to hear it, Sketchy. Best of luck to you, and take care.
You too, Doctor. Thanks for the help.
It's good to be helping.